Happy MLK Day.
Okay, so you get two guys on the American, one on the honor roll, freshman of the week, and DJ, and also Precious. You keep doing what Precious does. So
Yep.
how you feeling about that?
Feel very proud of both those guys. Obviously, it's a total team effort, but those guys' individual talents are coming out in the process of us doing things the right way.
What is it that made that got Precious to the point where now it's almost he's an automatic walking double double? At the beginning of the year, was he in James's shadow, and then James was gone, and he had to learn how to play without him? How is about that?
I don't know if it's about being in the shadow. I think it's about things kind of slowing down and not being so fast. I think that's what I always say about the freshmen. You come in and you want to play a certain way. Precious wanted to play on the perimeter when he first got here. He wanted to take a bunch of jump shots, wanted to show that he had a floor game. And on this level, he just needed to be who he was. And right now, it's doing everything really well, focusing mainly more 90% in the paint and maybe 10% on the perimeter. We don't stop him from bringing the ball up the court, but basically everything kind of slowed down for him. He started understanding who he was on this level and started understanding the system, and things started helping him. Yeah, he had to accept not wanting to be on the perimeter and wanting to be more in the post. Because the first time I tried to put him at the 5 spot, he did not like that. You can just tell he was kind of pouting a little bit in the preseason and when we had to put him there. And now he welcomes that because he understands that he is not a 5-man, that he's just playing the game to win.
Absolutely. Do you think DJ is he's ready to hit that stride now? And this is what we can expect.
Yeah, well, DJ was playing pretty good basketball before he got sick, right before the Georgia game. I think a lot of people around the country don't know him enough, but people around here, he's shown that he's worthy of being one of the top, mentioned with the top freshmen around the country because he brings a lot to the table.
The disruptions like that, like with DJ getting sick, James leaving the team, Lester getting hurt, how difficult has that made it for you to have a consistent rotation? You kind of know game in and game out.
Well, it's been difficult, but we've been able to handle it because we had a deep bench. Guys could just step right in. Obviously, those are key pieces. James, of course, Lester when he went down with the hand injury, and then DJ getting sick. I mean, those are almost unreplaceable pieces, but as a group collectively, guys stepped in. Tyler Harris upped his point total. Alex Lomax was playing really well. And Precious upped his total. So, and then Damian and Boogie and those guys were adding wherever they could on the offensive end. And defensively, everybody was playing well.
When you go into last game, Precious was saying how Malcolm being on the floor made it easier for him to do things on the court. Is that something you're going to be more packed up on the court together?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, Malcolm is still trying to come back from injury. He's still not 100%, but he's starting to hit a better stride now. We figured around January, February, he'd be hitting a better stride, and he makes everyone else better because he can do so many things on the defensive end and offensive end.
On the scale of 0 to 100, where would you say Malcolm is right now?
I would still say anywhere between 70 and 75%. He's still not at 100, anywhere near 100 of where he's going to be because he's more active when he's healthy, and I'm sure that will come. But right now I'm going to say 70, 75%.
When you go into a game, do you come in your mind because of after you've scouted whatever opponent you're like these are the guys I'm going to bring in these situations, or is it more of a feel thing as the game is going when you're making decisions?
I try to be consistent on when the rotations happen so guys know when they're going to go into games. And that's how it starts early. And then as the game goes, I start kind of getting a feel for who has what for certain situations with certain groups that they have on the floor.
When you look at the standings and you see Tulsa's leading the conference, does that surprise you at all?
It doesn't surprise me because I understand the flow of what they do and what they do with that zone. They sprint back every time. They're very active in the zone. They take charges in the zone. They force you into bad shots, and then they box out. So it's kind of been a perfect storm for them to they didn't have it in non-conference because teams kind of understood what they were trying to do, and maybe their new players weren't really accustomed to how the zone really works. But usually around January, February, Tulsa's playing pretty good basketball because they understand our league, and there's a lot of new guys that don't understand what's going to hit them, and by the time they understand, the game is over. So they play really hard. They're well coached, but that zone is really the biggest thing that helps them kind of push out on teams.
For you guys to have, a couple conference games, but then get this long little kind of mini break for 5 full days off or whatever it was between games, how important is that for you guys with such a young team?
Well, it's important for a couple reasons. Because we have a young team and it gives us more chances to get more work. but we have little knick-knack injuries that are going on that guys can kind of heal. So this break came at a proper time for us, for sure.
What's the best way to attack that zone?
Well, you can't do one-on-one. You gotta move the ball for sure. You gotta set screens. You gotta run your offense, and you just can't go one on five. You gotta drive to make a play for your teammate, because most of the times they're gonna converge on you, and you gotta be ready to make and be able to make the next pass, because they get their hands very active for deflections, and that's what really shocked me last year with our team. I've seen a ton of zones, but they probably have one of the better zones in the country. Mike Miller has a scout for this one.
What's your take on just what's going on in college basketball in general, the topsy-turvy nature?
I think what's really happening is that there are a lot of teams, especially a lot of mid-major to low majors, that have a lot of seniors and a lot of juniors, and most of these top teams have freshmen. And when you're dealing with freshmen, you don't know what you're going to get. And these upsets are upsets because of the names of the teams. But really, when you look at the rosters, they're mainly seniors and grad transfers of that nature. So it makes sense.
When you look at Tulsa specifically, and Memphis playing at Tulsa has been very, very difficult,
Mhm.
No matter what kind of team the Tigers have had. What makes this team different, you think, and how difficult will it be to try to get that W?
Well, it'll be very difficult because, young guys don't understand. They're thinking Tulsa. They're thinking easy win. They don't have any named players, no McDonald's All-Americans, guys they've never heard of playing. But what they do is they bought in because they want their respect. And that zone is, like I said, it's unlike any other. So when you understand what the zone brings to the table and how they're very active and how they box out every time, that's things that most colleges don't do. They don't buy into sprinting back, being active, and boxing out, contesting shots and boxing out, and that's what they do every possession.
Is it like a 3-2 or 1-2?
It goes from a 1-2, 1-1, half court, back to a 3-2, and sometimes flatten out to a 2-3, depending on who's in the corner. So they mix it up, and they do it really well.
In a situation like this, do you study, and they beat Houston,
Mhm.
do you study like maybe that game film more?
I have studied the Houston game more than I've studied the Cincinnati game at Cincinnati, because Cincinnati kind of got out in transition. If you can get stops and get out in transition, then you beat the zone. But if you get in the zone, the teams that have had the most success are the teams that move the basketball, get in the paint, and make the right decisions. And they're shooting pretty decent percentage from three.
You mentioned about some teams having older players
Mhm.
and their transfers. And last game, Leicester was able to get into Cumberland's head by
Mhm.
playing during the game.
Yep.
About just the freshmen and the younger players you have and their confidence to not be intimidated by playing older players.
Yeah, I think that with Lester specifically, he's a guy that went to post-grad. So he got a chance to leave high school and go to post-grad and play against some older kids for like a year. But he's so competitive, and he takes the challenge. He's just that guy that's going to, no matter how good you're supposed to be or how good you are. I mean, he's our reigning conference player of the year. Lester was going to take the challenge, and I was shocked that Cumberland allowed him to get to him mentally, but I'm glad he did.
Is that something you look for when you go to recruit players, or is it just like an automatic byproduct of another thing?
Well, I think we saw that in Lester, his toughness, along with his outside shooting, and that's what you want. You want to have guys on the team that you don't have to pump up every single day to get going. He's self-motivated.
Do you have a favorite lineup at this point? Or is it like naming your favorite kid?
It's I like our small lineup. There's no knock on Malcolm being out or Isaiah being out, but when Precious is at the 5 and DJ's at the 4, we're pretty tough because Lester can play 3s and 4s on defense, and we can switch everything without a problem. And Precious can play 1 through 5. DJ can guard 1 through 5. So it makes it easier for us when we can switch everything.
How much do you look forward to kind of that challenge whenever you play a tough zone? Obviously, ball control and ball movement is so important. How much of a do you guys look forward to that test with some of the turnover struggles?
Well, for me, what I've seen, we play better in zone because we have to move the basketball. The ball has to move. We can't go one-on-one because the paint is packed. So we're making better decisions and getting more assists in the games where we play against zone. So a lot of times I welcome zone, but this one is a little more difficult because they're so active. But it's a challenge that we take. And as a guard, a former guard that had to be in that position, I take the challenge on teaching these young guys on how to really handle it.
It's a fun time to be a basketball fan in Memphis with the Grizzlies and you guys.
Mhm.
How much do you pay attention to what the Grizzlies are doing? Have you had a chance to sort of build a relationship with Ja yet?
Yeah, I pay a lot of attention to it. I'm a basketball fan. Obviously, I want the hometown to do great, understanding that they're on a win streak, and I keep in touch with Ja's father a lot. And I pay attention to what Ja does on a nightly basis. He's a special player. They have a special team, a special nucleus, and with Jaren and those guys. So I think that everything is starting to point towards the right direction. Obviously, needing a couple more pieces moving forward, but right now it's very exciting to see what they're doing.
I know
John
he's
has
not
been
as
compared to you by a lot of people.
he's not as
as far
tall.
as the way that his game is structured.
Mhm.
You were bigger and all, but I mean the passes that he makes. And
Yeah, no. When I saw him in college, and was like, this kid is pretty good. But then when I saw him in person at the Grizzlies game, I was like, he's special. He does have great vision. Obviously, his athleticism is his best attribute because nobody can keep him in front. And he has vision as well to add on to that. And he has a very high IQ. So definitely, loving what I'm seeing from him.
you think you might have a little John in the
Which game was it?
I can't even remember what game. You put me on the spot. What game was I at?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if it was the Lakers or one of those games, but I was like, man, this kid is just special. No, it wasn't the Lakers. It was the game against R.J. Hampton and those guys. That team came to town, and because I wanted to see R.J. play against Ja, and I knew that'd be a tough task, and it was.
You think there might be a little John in the future? The way he's playing. As far
My R.J.?
as the little penny.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, you don't put anything past that. He's on the way to being a superstar, for sure. If he keeps winning, keep doing what he does, being highlighted on ESPN every night, for sure.
Speaking of Lil Kenny, we haven't heard an update on his workout status anytime we made
He's still working.
close to a comeback.
I don't know about close to a comeback, but I'm sure it's going to be a comeback.
Last question.
Oh, often ask you about sticking to the game and playing. Is there anything that the Tulsa team may do that you would maybe cause you guys to take in the game plan?
For us defensively, I don't think there's anything they can do. But offensively, for us against that zone, we're going to have to keep probing all night and seeing what works. And I've studied enough tape to know what to look for. We just got to hope that our team is able to pull it off. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's accurate. Each game I'm getting better. So I'm feeling each game I'm feeling better. So only thing that's really helping me now as far as like my little exercises and stuff that I'm doing with Kevin, Chris, Coach Darby, is playing in games.
When you get to 100%, what can we expect to see from you? More block shots, jumping out?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be doing everything that I can to help my team win the game. So that I had to go out there and get double figure rebounds, double points, double steals, whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do it.
What is it that you're learning about yourself, or that you learned about yourself while you were out, as far as you know you want to be out there,
Mhm. Yeah.
you have to take care of
Yeah.
How have you been able to translate that?
No, I'm just seeing each game I play, I see what I'm capable of doing and what I still have to work on and strengthen and stuff. So each game I'm learning something new as well.
What did you, earlier when you weren't playing, what did you learn from watching from the bench versus being in the game?
I was just learning like the type of system that like my teammates like playing on and how they, I just study each of my teammates' games and how I can come out there and make it easier for each one of them.
Do you guys look at college, other games around college?
Oh yeah, that's all we do. We watching all the other we always watching games together. We keeping each other updated on games and everything.
With seeing how much, turnover in the top 10 there's been.
Yeah, it's this whole year has just been full of surprises. So every game we're expecting something.
Do you guys like seeing that?
Yeah, we just like seeing good basketball because most of the time we know somebody on the team, so we're just watching the game.
When Alex Lopez is in here, and all we have to do is mention that man, he will start smiling.
Yeah.
And how much fun he has playing with you and all of it. So now it's your turn to say what you're going to say.
Yeah, ever since I met Alo, we've been winning state championships together and stuff since I was a freshman. That's been my favorite point guard that I ever played with. So it's the actions speak for itself for Alo. I can't, I can go all day.
And to get back out there on the court.
Yeah, it's a blessing. So that's how I feel about it.
What did Kevin have you do to get you ready for basketball shape? Right, you can only ride it.
Yeah, you can. Nothing can duplicate basketball shape, But Kevin had me doing the right things so that when I got back on the court, I could be protected and able to do the things I wanted to do.
With
a
Mhm.
little bit more
Yeah.
to roam around and do
Mhm.
some of the things they do. And talk about how you have complimented them, they complimented you.
Yeah, playing with Precious and DJ, they're bigger bodies too, so that's what I'm used to. You know, I'm used to having me being 6'8", 6'9", playing with 3, 4 more 6'8", 6'9" people out there. You know, so it frees up a lot for all of us because now, you know, the way I play defense, I'm roaming too. So now Precious, I have a rim protector in. Now I can go roam like I like to and get steals and gamble, knowing that the rim is protected by Precious or DJ. You know, so we all give each other the green light and help each other feed off each other.
Obviously, a big game coming up Wednesday, Tulsa leading the conference.
Mhm.
What do you see when you watch them on tape?
We just have to. I'm just worried about us, basically. So when I see them, I'm not ever watching the team. You know, I'm watching it for the game plan, but I'm worried about our discipline, and you know, I'm just focused on how we're going to go out there and execute and win.
I guess how do you game plan for them?
We haven't did that yet.
Oh.
Yeah, first day back, so
Already?
yeah, I don't know yet. Yeah, you cool.
Game plan. I'm always asking coach about, they have a plan, a certain point
Mhm.
before the game's deter from it.
Mhm.
What causes that to happen? Is it something you see, or you just forget, or?
I feel like, you know, and when I see Penny answer these type of questions, all he says that it's our, you know, that we young and it's our discipline, you know. So that's what I've created in my head that it is, you know, that sometimes we see something and we'll do what we want to do before we just have our discipline of what our coach told us because we thought it was right, you know. So that's basically all it is. Yeah, yeah, like an instinct, you know, because most of those instincts, yeah, because it's a difference. And the instinct that we'll have in the high school, 85% of the time, 90% we'll get it, you know, versus playing a disciplined team, you know, a college team, you know, that we're paying for it every time, you know.
I think a lot of people were surprised you were such a good passer.
Yeah,
right away.
yeah.
Well, where did that come from?
I always could pass. You know, I like that's one of my favorite things to do. Like, if not my favorite thing to do is set up everybody because I want everybody happy on the court. You know, so one thing I found out about myself that I can create for others. You know, so I know how to read the defense and set people up. You know, I can have anybody scoring. So that's what I want to do. Make sure everybody's happy and getting touches on the court.
One thing Penny said that I know you haven't really
Mhm.
looked at it yet.
Yeah.
The game plan was that Tulsa plays a really tough zone.
Uh-huh.
And how is it for you? You like to pass the ball, you know?
Yeah.
Throw it into the big guy,
Mhm.
big guy, kick it out. How about passing against the zone?
Yeah, well, for me playing with Penny so long, you know, in high school, he's taught me how to read the zone, you know, from us playing zone and from us playing against zone. So I already know all my reads and stuff, you know, so when we go out there and practice today and work on it, I already know, you know, sets and stuff that we're going to just dominate the zone. So it should be fun because it's going to definitely be easy.
Knowing Penny's system, the way you do for plans
Mhm.
for so long, does that make it, I guess, easier for you to adapt once you start getting more minutes? I remember one game, I think, Damien, I
Mhm.
think, telling him during the game,
Mhm.
you do too far, you're not supposed to
Mhm.
do it. So
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm based off what I've been, and that's just part of me when I was sitting out looking too at how I can say something to help the team grow, you know. So, you know, spacing is a big part of creating. Everybody has to have the right spacing so that your man can be in the right spot, you know, so I can create triggers and people can create triggers when it's spacing. So spacing is very important.